Well, welcome back to Ag on 8, where we share ag news impacting you. Well, first, the government shutdown is halting SNAP funding, and it's leaving millions of people without benefits. Federal food assistance money is usually loaded onto SNAP cards. That's on the first of the month. But now the cards haven't been loaded. A federal judge has temporarily ordered the Trump administration to continue SNAP funding, but President Donald Trump says that his administration's lawyers are not sure that they have the legal authority to pay for SNAP during the government shutdown. Well, locally in Moline, a tattoo shop is trying to help out those who typically depend on those benefits. Emma Bucher introduces us to the owner and head artist and share how she's helping others.
And it's hard though, it's hard to not know the ins and outs and am I doing this right? But it doesn't matter, I'm trying.
When tattoo artist Amy Ford learned SNAP funding was running out,
it was just in my nature to figure out a way.
She stepped in to ink for impact.
I'm going to drop a flash. When can I do this? When can I do this fast? Now we're here.
Appointments filled in just hours.
I'm ready.
For client Jen Kraft, the issue hits close to home.
So I received food stamps when I was pregnant with my son, as well as WIC. At that time, I felt relieved, right? Life is hard. It was one less thing to stress about, which made me have a healthier pregnancy.
Kraft says losing access to SNAP could ripple through communities in ways far beyond a missed meal.
So long-term effects of not being able to eat balanced meals, the stress that comes with that, negative impacts on mental health. I would imagine there will be increased depression rates, right? Increased anxiety, increased suicidal ideation.
Saying it's about basic human needs, not politics.
This shouldn't be a slandering event. Can we just make sure that the children are fed?
Clients saying this also takes the stress out of figuring out where to donate.
I can just leave it here with Amy and she'll take care of it. So thanks.
You're welcome. What do you think? Do you like it?
I love it.
Well, switching gears, over 70,000 students like these, advisors and attendees are recovering after a busy few days in Indianapolis. Yesterday wrapped up the National FFA Convention. The conference brings together young adults from all over the country, and they compete in career development and leadership contests. Well, in our area, Nevin Erbson from Eastland's FFA chapter is the winner of one of the top awards, and he's this year's American Star in Agricultural Placement. And get this, his cousin Delana was a finalist for another top category too. Tucker Schnook, who you saw just a minute ago from Cambridge FFA, who we had on Ag on 8 back in April, is also a winner. He took home the National Proficiency title for turf and landscape management. Cale DeFelt from West Liberty FFA also won a National Proficiency Award. That was for poultry production. Congratulations to all of those winners. Well, corn and soybean harvest is wrapping up for the year. A report from Wiffles Hybrids says that northern Illinois ranges from about 50 to 75% complete. Western Illinois is about 90% done, but there are several reports of down corn. And in northeastern Iowa, disease management continues to have a big factor on harvest results. The U.S. and China have reached a trade agreement. That includes making it easier for American companies to get rare earth minerals, and it follows China's first purchase of this year's harvest of American soybeans. Alex Montoya and I caught up with a farmer in Knox County and a commodity trading expert. That was to see if the initial agreement will make a difference and what details still need to be worked out. China's planning to buy 12 million metric tons of soybeans from now until January. And that means that these 30,000 bushel of beans have another destination option. It's changing the game for farmers like Drew DeSutter.
It's been a tight margin year. I was waiting for a better price. You know, you're always gambling at that point.
A 3-year trade deal with China means the cards for soybean farmers may have finally fallen in Drew DeSutter's favor.
In the past week, we've pretty much gone from that $9.93 low of October 1st to $1 higher. That's a significant move.
Their biggest buyer, China, hasn't been at the table. The U.S. Treasury Secretary announced Thursday morning that China will purchase 918 million bushels each year for the next 3 years. But although grain is now moving overseas, the deal might not be fully closed.
It's a framing contract in the sense that it is a statement and it's expected to be met and honored, but it's not the same as buying those 25 million metric tons at that time.
Kurt Strubar is a commercial merchandising consultant with Advanced Trading. He thinks it'll be hard to get the promised 12 million metric tons of soybeans onshore in China by January.
I think it's got some challenge, and I hate to just say that outright, but even in terms of port capacities, freight logistics.
He thinks the country could make a forward purchase without any issues.
It's certainly a positive versus being a negative to the American farmer. It's just a question of magnitude. And
even if there's questions still up in the air, DeSutter thinks he'll play the percentages.
It's good for farming because it provides a little bit of certainty in a very uncertain business. But it's always going to be, a little bit of a gamble.
In Woodhull, Haley Bickelhaupt, WQAD News 8. Well, Strubar says that higher commodity prices are a good thing for American farmers, but it's also an incentive for America's biggest soybean competitor, Brazil. That's to plant a big crop. They're putting seeds in the ground in South America right now. A solar company has received permission to install solar panels on some agricultural land in Muscatine County. Maddie France was there for the decision and shows us what the project looks like and how the community is responding.
Out here south of Fruitland, land like this is slated to host thousands of solar panels. It's part of a massive solar farm spanning 2 counties and about 4,000 acres. California-based Orion Renewables already has a permit to build on 3,300 acres of Loiza County's agricultural land. Altogether, the $2.1 billion project would generate 1,100 megawatts.
So this is a little unique.
The project's 2-county span is what makes it unique for Eric Furness. He's the development director for Muscatine County. There's already an ordinance regulating utility-scale solar.
It's just checking those boxes from our ordinance to make sure those items were met.
One of those boxes is a public hearing. A full house, almost all showing support for the project.
The solar project seemed like a really good deal for us.
Tom Langen owns land in both counties.
Perfect retirement plan.
His daughter doesn't want to farm, and his soil isn't the best for growing.
So we're not taking good farmland out of production. We're taking some of the least productive land and putting it to a better production system.
Almost everyone showed support.
I wanted the rural life.
Tom Nowak isn't entirely against the project, but he lives on dead-end Crimson Avenue.
I guess what I'm not really crazy about is looking at all these solar panels.
His street would be used for construction. Other neighbors there tell me they're worried about the kids who play on the street and wish Orion Renewables would build a separate access road.
I'm used to a dead-end road, nothing going on there.
With all the boxes checked, the Board of Adjustment gave the project a pass. It will take several more years to get all the approvals, but the Loiza Solar Farm is well on its way. In Muscatine, Maddie France, WQAD News 8.
Orion Renewables is offering annual payments to homeowners in Fruitland and surrounding the project. It will also contribute at least $200,000 to the Greater Muscatine Community Foundation every year. And now we move to state policy. New legislation is sitting on Illinois Governor Pritzker's desk. The legislation includes new rules on a wide variety of topics from transit funding, energy reform, and immigration arrest. Now, this is a lot to dissect, so I sat down with Chris Davis, the Director of State Legislation at the Illinois Farm Bureau. He shares how these policies could impact landowners.
Well, thanks for joining us, Chris. There's a big energy reform package sitting on Governor Pritzker's desk right now, and it lifts a ban on nuclear power, creates a new charge for those using electricity. But I know I'm just scratching the surface here because there's so much in this legislation. Why was the Farm Bureau interested in energy policy this year in Springfield?
Illinois Farm Bureau was extremely concerned that this places additional burdens on ratepayers and farmers. This legislation does not include what is called an Agricultural Impact Mitigation Agreement, or an AIMA. Illinois Farm Bureau supports AIMAs on all renewable energy projects. The battery storage components of this legislation do not require an AIMA that protects landowners when these projects are constructed. Currently, wind projects and solar energy projects require an AIMA, so we just wanted parity for battery storage projects. This legislation fails to require fire protection provisions on battery storage protections. We saw an incredible drought this summer and some significant fires across the state of Illinois. We believe that these battery storage sites should have significant fire protection provisions for landowners and farmers across the state.
So did this turn out the way you wanted it to, or do you have some frustrations with this current legislation?
No, we certainly still have significant concerns about this legislation. While we are happy that this lifts the nuclear moratorium, we feel that landowners are left without significant protections in this legislation that they deserve.
Another piece of legislation that has direct ties back here to the Quad Cities is the transit funding. We've been covering this over the last few days, but why are you interested in it? Why should farmers care about this funding for transit?
So Illinois Farm Bureau was particularly concerned with conversations, especially back in May, to eliminate the sales tax exemption on biodiesel. The agricultural community came together to ensure that the sales tax exemption on biodiesel was preserved and that was not used as a funding source for a bailout of the regional transportation system.
And how did that turn out for you?
It was great. We were successful in ensuring that transportation funds were used for transit and that biodiesel was preserved in Illinois going forward.
Chris, I know you've been busy the last few days and, just even the last October. So I thank you for your time and we'll have to check back in next spring.
That sounds great, Haley. Thank you.
Thanks for joining us for Ag on 8. We'll see you back here next week.